MBRF podcast. Another episode, and then this time with a telecoms company. I have Harisun. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for being in the Knowledge Summit. The first thing that comes to mind is the relationship between knowledge and telecoms, connectivity in general. What a connection, huh?
Well, I think as we briefly connected just prior to the podcast, knowledge is the center of everything. And for us, with our historical and traditional nature of being the local telecom operator here in the UAE, plus now to 20 countries in the world running mobile and fixed network, we take that to heart. We're also very privileged to have the trust of the communities of which we operated. And it is this connectivity that will provide the underlying technology and platform and services to deliver the knowledge and learning. So for example, we have a number of partnerships in place in our learning platform. Not only do we provide internal learning for our employees, because that's a continuous evolution of upskilling and reskilling our employees, but also to the broader ecosystem. Because we are a 50, 60,000 employee organization, but we realize in the markets that we operate in, we touch the lives of hundreds of millions of people of we operate. Because we're in Pakistan with 250 million population, we're in Egypt, 100 million. So we're talking about a lot of people. So
how many people? Give me a ballpark figure.
Oh, in terms of total telecom subscribers today, we're in the range of 170 to 180
million.
175, 100 million, exactly. Wow. If you include, and you have mentioned, I work for Etisalat, formerly known as Etisalat, the telecom player. We're actually not just a telecom operator. As I mentioned, on the telecom side, we operate in 20 countries. We have a number of technology investments on the digital consumer side, on the digital enterprise side, that brings our market of operations to 38. And if you include these technology assets, the lives that we touch and the people that we touch and the customers that we have exceeds 200 million.
I think it's more. I'll tell you why. You could have 170 or 100 million subscribers, but imagine the people they connect to.
Absolutely.
And they connect to through your network. So what a responsibility. It almost scares me thinking about it. You're talking about you're talking about 200 million. That's 250 million people. That's 1/16 of the population of the planet. That's insane. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's a very privileged position that we're in. But there's also a saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's Spider-Man.
So we take that to heart.
I love it.
That's Spider-Man. Peter Parker.
Yes.
And we take that to heart. As you rightly mentioned, when we started this discussion, EN, formerly known as Etisalat, is the local telecom company here in the UAE. And through the last close to 50 years, we've gained a lot of trust in the general public, with the government, with our customers. And as I was mentioning on stage, it takes years, in some cases, to build that trust, but it could take days or seconds or hours to lose that trust. In situations where potentially people are using data not in the most appropriate way, or data is not protected and it gets exposed. So we certainly do not want it in that space. And that's why when we look at knowledge, AI, and technology, we look at it in a very holistic angle. How do we generate the impact and the outcomes that we want, but also balance to ensuring that things are not moving too fast? Because when you move too fast, you in some cases get out of control, but you want to move fast enough to be at the early adopter stage of technology and really bring the best to the customers that we serve.
How do you strike that balance? Fast, but not fast, not too fast, but fast enough?
Well, at least driving a car, there are speed limits.
Yeah.
Right? In Dubai here, you can go a little bit above. In Abu Dhabi, you can. I think in AI and technology adoption, there are no speed limits. There are now in some countries and some places where local regulations are taking place. So for example, the US, the EU, those are taking place. But in many of our markets, these regulations have not yet been in place. And therefore, part of it is collaborating with others. We have a number of partnerships in place with the World Economic Forum, GSMA, United Nations, and others that really brings the global best practice to bear And then, of course, we have a number of regional and local partners as well. The UNDP, Arab states, region here, that we can really overlay that local aspect that we can really understand. And of course, we also have very good, intimate knowledge of the business that we run, the customer that we have, and a moral compass of what is right is wrong. So I think there's no simple answer, but at the end, it's a holistic view across all these lenses to which we make those decisions.
Brilliant. I want to ask you something about, look, AI is a very hot topic. And honestly, I have 15 minutes of questions for you. So, but the podcast is short. I'm trying to prioritize. But there's a question I want to ask you about AI. We were talking earlier about how quickly technology is coming up. And there are some aspects of AI that scares everybody. I realize that when change happens, people get scared. I'm pretty open-minded about tech, and I'm terrified. I'm going to the expert, someone who is in the field. How scary is it?
I think it is absolutely scary, but at the same time, this is something that can be handled and managed. And what I mean by that, you talk about being scary. 2024 is the year on record with the largest number of elections globally that touches the most number of people. And with the advancement of AI, in particular the last couple of years with ChatGPT and now going into content creation, the amount of quote unquote fake news, deep fakes out there is very alarming. That's why we work with these external organizations to put the guardrails and framework in place so that we can adjudicate it. Even in our role, there are situations where we deploy technology to safeguard our customers and the citizens here in the UAE that you may not see of. And I'll give you one example. Nowadays, I'm sure, if you live here in the UAE, you get some spam calls and scamming calls. We actually deploy AI to block as much of that as possible by understanding who's making the call, from where, is this a temporary SIM? Do we have the ID of the person? Is it an unregistered number temporarily? All those are taken into account. And if you can imagine, if this technology or AI isn't in place, it'll be a true wild, wild west out there where people are just doing whatever they want. So I think, yes, it is scary, but I think there's a certain set of rules or certain guardrails that we can put in place and technology that we can put in place to really safeguard the people that we
And that's
serve.
precisely why I asked that question to you. It's telecom operators that make us feel a little bit safer, I guess. And I'll tell you this, not because you're sitting here, but we are truly lucky to have companies that have this kind of track record, and this amount of commitment to the market that it operates in, or actually to the markets that it operates within, because you said 38 markets?
38 countries, yes.
Wow. Mr. Lang, it's been an absolute pleasure. I can talk to you for hours, but as I said, we only have 10 to 12 minutes. Thank you for being at the Knowledge Summit. Thank you for the fantastic work you're doing in and formerly known as Eتصالات. Why the name change?
Well, as you probably know, اتصالات means communications in Arabic. So reason number one is, as we expand our operating footprint outside of the Arabic footprint, people may not recognize it as much, and therefore the need to do it, right? The second thing is, we're actually a technology company now, because we have majority ownership in companies like Starsplay, Kareem. We have a minority stake in WeoBank. So not only are we a telecom and communications provider, we're also a technology player. So we really want to bring this growth and expansion strategy to bear. And the reason why you have an and or ampersand sign, it leaves a little bit open for the imagination of what that and is. Is it, telco and tech? We focus on shareholder value return and doing it sustainably. We're a UAE company, a regional company, and we're a global company now. So there's a lot of meaning behind that and.
So yeah, fill in the gap. It's E and whatever you want it to be.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Thank you again.
Thank you.